Welcome everyone to another episode of Catchup. And today our guest is Mrs. Gloria Wagstaffe. And I'm here at her beautiful home and I am very grateful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
So the objective of Catchup is mostly three things, Mrs. Wagstaffe. We take a look back at our favorite memories and we also learn what you have been up to since graduation for the people that you went to school with. Mrs. Wagstaffe is a past student, teacher, and first female principal, and she was a principal twice. So you should have lots of wonderful memories of Munnings
Yes,
to share.
I do. Well, I do have great memories.
Great memories.
Yes.
And then the last objective of Catch Up is for you to share your perspective through the different seasons of your life and to share lessons learned so we can learn. Okay, so the first question I have is, what was your graduation class?
In terms of numbers,
Your graduation class
small?
from Munnings when you went to
When
Munnings.
I went to Munnings, 1968, from sixth form.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I spent, what, 8 years at Munnings because I repeated fifth form. I was in the period when I started Munnings, the school year started in January. And so when it was changed, I think it was 1964
Yes.
or 65, somewhere there, we had a short year. And most of us who were supposed to have done well didn't do well. Didn't do as, anything close to what we were supposed to do. So we had no problems getting a repeat, as the younger ones would say.
They call it upper
Miss,
fifth.
you can get a repeat.
They call it upper fifth.
Yes.
It's now been branded as upper fifth form.
fifth.
Yes.
Yes.
By by Jeremy Holland. How you doing, Jeremy?
It was Germany.
Jeremy calls it upper fifth
Upper
because he
fifth.
repeated as well.
Okay.
So he said he didn't repeat. He said he went to upper fifth.
Well, in our time, it was more or less, you're invited back.
Yes.
Well, especially our group, as I said, because we had that short year. And then I went on to sixth form. Again, there was a glitch. I didn't do very well in the advanced levels. But to compensate, I did an extra subject because I wanted to do, a few of us, there were about 4 of us, I think it was, who decided we were going to do languages at university.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had gladly dropped Latin at third form, and then we needed Latin
Yes.
to go in. So we decided to start Latin, of course, from scratch. And we did it in the 2 years. And I don't remember if all of us passed, but I know I did. And got a grade 2 or 3, which was a very good grade in GCE O levels in those days.
So since you graduated from Munnings, give us like a very high level using milestones. You can include additional studies and jobs that you've had. Just to give everybody a high level overview of graduating from Munnings to now.
Okay, I have been in teaching almost all of my working life. I worked at the parish library for a term, and then I did pre-trained teaching. Of course, my students were like 4 years younger than I was, and because I went up an all-age school at the time, and I assisted with grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. And so those students were just, especially the grade 9ers, the grade 8s, so just 4 or in some cases 3, 5, between 3 and 5 years younger than I was. And then I had wanted to teach from school.
Yes.
Yes, I was one of those. Well, in those days, many people wanted to teach.
It was a profession that
But
was like looked up
yes,
on, right? Very highly regarded in the
teaching
community.
and
Nursing.
nursing were the things.
Yes.
And we had the concept of education taking us out of the level where we were. Many of us, our parents were cane farmers, cane farm workers, not
Yes.
farmers in the sense of farming that way. But they planted a little cane, of course, a little flood like over there. But they worked in the cane fields. They worked in the ground. You know, they were helpers, that kind of thing. And so we knew that it was education that would take us from that level, because our parents pushed it, and
Yes.
we embraced it as well. You had to do well. You had to do well. So I I decided then I had to go to teacher training college. So I went just the following year
Which
after
one did you
leaving
go to?
school. St. Joseph Teachers
Okay, I
College in
went to Sam Sharp.
Kingston.
Yes.
Sam Sharp, yes. Sam Sharp wasn't around as yet.
Yes.
Many people went to Bethlehem. It was just since week I was saying most of the people this side went to Bethlehem, or where did mommy go? Shortwood, Shortwood,
That is
or
Marsha Malcolm in the
or
background.
Michael, or the Michael, you know.
Yes.
I had a friend who went to St. Joseph's, and I think that was what encouraged me to go. I and then 2 years later, I went on to the University of the West Indies and did my Bachelor of Arts, majoring in English and history. So I always loved English. I did.
Marsha's laughing because I can't relate.
Yes,
Math is my thing.
I remember. I remember you were lab tech after leaving school
Yes,
for a
yes,
while.
yes. Give me my sciences and my
And
math.
my son is a science person as well. So, but I loved to read. So the literature came in, you know, quite handy.
Yes.
And I think, despite what people say about literature and why you want to read all those books, it has a lot to teach us.
Yes.
In life, towards life. You can relate so much of day-to-day life, even to those
stories.
Yes, and to the 16th and 17th and 18th century. Yes.
You see that life repeats itself?
Yes,
Yes.
to a great extent.
Great extent.
It does. And then I ended up coming to teach at Munnings after two others. No, one school. I was in Hanover. At Hanover Secondary before it merged with Russies to become both schools became Russies. I left just before the merger and came to Munnings
As an English teacher?
as an English teacher, yes. And 4 years later, I was vice principal. I became vice principal when Mrs. Anderson retired. I had wanted to go on to do my master's, but that didn't happen. Every time my lovely principal, Mr. Nita, would give me something new to do, and so it wasn't that he was preventing me from going. It was just that something came up, and he felt that I should do it because he was one of those people who would push me. He always said to me, "Gloria, you're to be a principal. Small school, not one as big as Manning's, you know. A smaller school like Hampton size and so on." In those days, Manning's was what? 1,500 and odd when I went in 79. They're about 1,600.
Wow.
But of course, we kept growing each year. Each year we grew some more because of the Westmoreland situation. We were overproducing in quotation marks. And so Mr. Nita kept being sympathetic, and he had a group of us and PTA support, I said that was what, who encouraged and supported. So he would build a shed, and then the shed would have to be fixed up the next year to look a little better till it became a proper classroom.
Yes.
So I didn't go to do my master's until 1994. And I copped out of a situation to go and do that because it still wasn't coming naturally. The late Howard Jackson, one of my previous teachers when I was a student at Mannings, he took the reins. And unfortunately, he passed a few years after he came. And I was should I say, forced into being acting principal.
You seem to be a reluctant principal.
Yes, I was. I definitely was. I knew Munnings. I had been there since '79, and I knew what it was. It was the changes that had taken place, and I didn't think that I was the person to manage it
Yes.
as well as I thought it should be managed, because it was my school. I was a, I think, and I'm not boasting,
Yes.
I was an objective teacher. So despite the fact that I knew I did well as vice principal, I was told I did very well. I knew that I didn't think I would do as well as a principal.
Interesting.
And so I took it on, though. Whenever I take on anything, I give it my best shot. I gave it my best shot, but I know I didn't want to stay. And I kept asking the board, and they didn't do anything. So I decided now is the time I could get out. So I applied. You mustn't laugh at me, you know.
I'm laughing with you.
Okay, thank you. I applied, and I got through at the University of the West Indies. And then when I went to Kingston to do the final decision, I met a friend, and he said, Gloria, why don't you come to Caribbean Graduate School of Theology? As a Christian, I know that you would do well. And he knew I like counseling thing. So I decided I shifted to Caribbean Graduate School of Theology, where I did a major in counseling psychology, but it was still a general degree. And I checked out my facts, though, because I knew that if it wasn't accredited, I wasn't going there. It was accredited with the University Council of Jamaica. And at the same time, my friend and colleague from Munnings, Mrs. Thompson, Jennifer.
Yes.
She was your math teacher in law school?
Yes.
I think so. She was going, both of us were going on. We got a lot of flack, especially me, because being I was in my 40s. Where is she going? You're just studying again. Them people, old people. I mean, well, Jennifer was younger than I was. But I think we were, in a way, trendsetters from this end. Because after we went, and the comments and the criticisms about why.
Yes.
Afterwards, man, people stopped.
Everybody wanted to go.
Yes. And I think it mushroomed into as people getting off. So that has been it for me.
So after you graduated,
in terms of that,
yes,
in terms of the academic.
And what are you doing now?
Now, I didn't tell you how when I became principal. Mr. White. Mr. White left. I have to tell you that.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. White decided to retire. And I was vice principal. After acting principal for the 2 years, I came back. Mr. White came on. And then I went on study leave 2 years. I came back. I was on full study leave, no distance business. Full study leave. Left the job, went to Kingston. And then when I came back, we were there until Mr. White decided to retire. 2005. And I decided no principal application for Gloria Wagstaffe. And so I spoke to one of my past colleagues. She wasn't around. She wasn't in Jamaica then. And she said, I hear Mr. White is leaving. I hope you're applying. I said, no, I really don't want it. You know that I don't want it. She said, you must be mad. You are to apply. I'd been praying about it. And eventually I decided to apply. Last day of application, the last evening, I saw the chairman. I said, sir, are you still taking applications for the position? Yes, Mrs. Wagstaffe. So I sent it in, and I got the position. 4 years and 4 years and 1 term. I knew it was from before I applied. I knew it was from then, and I knew I didn't want to stay any longer.
Really?
So I ended up staying 4 years and 2 terms because the new principal was not ready to come. Well, the board said the new principal wasn't quite ready. had some matters to deal with, and so they asked me to stay on for another term. As soon as I got a little bit of rest, I was captured at a college that my church runs at Torrington, Caribbean Wesleyan College. They were working on getting registered to move towards accreditation, and they thought that they needed somebody with some experience, and I was it. So I came back and was there from August, same year, 2010, August until now. Have been telling them I need to go, and they won't accept. So I've written the letter.
There's a trend.
There is a trend. So the letter is in. So I'm hoping to give that up in August here.
Plans for after?
Not to say that I'm going to sit down. I have so many things to do. Well, the plans are to get some rest.
Do you know how to rest? Marsha is saying no in the back. You can't see her head.
To spend a little more time with my grandchildren. I have 2 grandsons and a step granddaughter, a stepdaughter. How we go? Step granddaughter, right?
Yes.
To do some things that were to have been started after I retired and not touched up to now, like at home, putting some things together. I have a whole lot of things that I would like to put together. I don't know if I'll be able to do any of it again. Like, I know that I wanted to do some things with the students, like, just collate some things they had, some lovely work. I don't even know if I can find them. Probably some of them got lost in the moving and so on. And, that sort of thing.
So, I'm going to guess that your favorite subject was English when you were in school, when you were a student?
Yes.
And it was your favorite subject to teach as well?
And it was my favorite teach. I didn't teach any history after the first probably 2 years.
Yes.
I taught English up to 6th form and adults. I did a group who was preparing to work, teachers in service teachers at the time. I taught them English as well. I taught the UE Extension School English.
Yes.
Some years later.
So when you close your eyes and look back on your days and your years at Munnings, what are your favorite memories that make you smile and feel warm inside or make you proud?
Things that happened at Munnings. Well, favorite memories of all my principals. I worked with 3 principals.
How would you describe their 3 personalities? Mr. Nita, Mr. White, and Mr. Jackson. How would you describe Mr. Nita? What words come to mind? Just give me words. What comes to mind first to describe his personality?
Thoughtful, caring, visionary.
Mr. Jackson.
No nonsense. Shape up or ship out.
Mr.
High ideals.
Mr. Jackson.
Generally.
Yes.
Both academics and sports.
Mr.
Jackson, yes. We took some students and we helped them. I can't forget Tracy Barnes.
Yes.
Tracy came.
Tracy need to come on the show. Back to you.
Yes, try to get her.
I think she's in Atlanta.
She's in. I can get her. I can get connection.
Yes, please. Yes. I much appreciate it.
She came in. Couldn't do much, and we didn't only have her in sports. Mr. Jackson worked out classes. We worked out classes for them. We had them. Tracy ended up passing. I think she got three CXCs, which was it was an achievement for her. She went on. I think she represented Jamaica in athletics, and I think Trisha K was in Mr. Jackson's time too. Trisha K. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And even my son
Mm-hmm.
was with Mr. Jackson.
I just
He
can
went
see
on
him
to
on. I
UT.
just. This is my thing with the glasses. That is when I think of him. This is
Mr.
a.
Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And the glasses. That's what I remember.
Yes. Of course, well, each two of them had a glasses thing. Mr. Jackson was the glasses,
Yes.
and Mr. Nita was the chewing
The frame.
yes,
The handle.
yes, he would take it off, man. If any past student from Mr. Nita's time will tell you, he took out the glasses and he put the one of the
Yes.
corner piece in his mouth, and he looks over and somebody said, "No pussyfooting around." And of course, he knows what to do. And some other favorite things.
Mr. White.
Mr. White no was I don't high ideals, but in a different way.
Yes. It's just
But the
different. It's a different
yes, just
style.
different style.
I can see his smile right now.
Different style, yes. He was always
Yes.
pleasant.
Yes.
You hardly, if hardly saw Mr. Nita, Mr. Jackson.
I don't think I've ever seen Mr. Jackson smile.
Okay.
Ever.
But with Mr. White now, you hardly saw him
Upset.
upset.
Yes, I can see
Oh,
his
that's
smile. When I think of him,
way.
I see him smiling.
Smiling.
When I think of Mr. Jackson,
That's
I
you
see
see
this. I think if I see him
And
smile, I'd
something.
run at Mr. Jackson. I wouldn't know what to do if I saw him smiling. But they're different. Any other memories you want to mention for you? A moment?
Times, yes. Achievements,
Yes.
students' achievements. I mean, school, of course, we had a lot of achievements compared to what is thought now, but we didn't have the exposure. So they were not publicized much. I mean, we didn't have the kind of equipment and
Social media and all of that to
that
spread
we
the
have
word.
now. And even now, the newspaper is expensive. So not even the newspaper could be used much. And I am grateful that to God that I was able to assist.
And be a part of that.
I've always tried to be, helping whoever, no matter who the child was.
Yes.
I didn't have favorites in that sense at school that, oh, this one is from there, so I pay attention to that one, and this one is from down there, so I can't, I don't guess I'm coming from, so no. I suppose my background helped me. I came out of a situation where my mother had a number of us. I didn't grow with my father. As a matter of fact, I didn't know him until I was about 17, 16. But I was fortunate in that my mother there was a couple in the district of Broughton and she moved from St. Elizabeth down to that area. This couple asked her if, they could have me. Those days, you say, I wasn't legally adopted.
Right.
But they took me as their child. I went to primary school with that name, Kedu.
Yes.
My adopted father was Indian. And I am happy for that experience because I knew that my mother, I knew and now know that my mother could not have afforded me the education
and the
that I
opportunities,
had and
yes.
the opportunities that I got from their being able to send me to school regularly. They weren't rich, but they were a little better off than she was.
Wow.
And I'm eternally grateful. They died just after I finished. One just after I finished high school. One just after I finished teacher training college. And so I was thrown back into my mother's fold, as it were. I still had her because she was like in the adjoining district. But I now had to learn how to relate to her as mother because my adopted parents were mama and daddy. Wow. But again, I don't know, the way my life went, I have to give God thanks. I think my faith is a strong underpinning force. in my life, and it has helped me throughout from childhood, I think, coming up. I remember when I got into teenager, you know, the teenage kind of thing, depression, but it wasn't like the depression now where you start trace your parents
Yes.
to have given you out away. And so it was my faith that I went back on and helped me deal with it and rationalize. This is what she saw best, and this is how she helped me. I had stayed with her, I would probably not
Be who you are today.
be where I am today. I didn't set my sights on becoming vice principal or principal at Munnings.
Yes.
It's been, in a sense, an honor, but humbling at the same time. And I think I gave my best service in all the areas I work.
In whatever role.
Wherever I go, not just at my alma mater, but wherever I go, I try to
That's why they don't
make
want
a
you to
difference.
Including the current employer. So we're
Oh,
gonna
you
go
got
back.
that?
Yeah. So when you go look back, so we're gonna go back in the days when you were younger. Was there something that you used to believe about yourself that now has changed? Your view and perspective now that you look back to the experience you have now.
Yes, you don't always remain at the same point. It's just that now it's sort of difficult for me to do. I at one point I didn't think I was, a term is not equal to, but it was a sense of deficiency. I don't know if it's because we came from the country and then you had the town set of students who sometimes want to behave as if
You're better.
they're better. I don't know, I'm not sure what it was. I know at one time I thought that I was physically I was not anything to look at. If I use that phrase. But I came to accept differently as people would affirm me if I say that. And I always had a sense of knowing that I had something, but it's not. I don't know. It was like it was somebody used that term to me and said I always was too self-effacing. That English teacher asked him if that's the right word, but that's yes.
You taught
And
English too,
that,
didn't you? What subject did you?
Yeah.
Spanish. Oh,
You know. Yes.
Oh wow.
But as I was saying now, I always had a sense of confidence though, underlying, underneath, and that helped to, I think, buoy me up.
Yes. In terms of your expertise and knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
What advice would you give students that are graduating from Munnings and about to head out into the real world? What advice would you give them? You've seen many pass through. If you had to just sit them down and you had one advice to give them, what advice would you give?
Be aware. Be alert. You know, keep your eyes open and see what's happening so you can plan your strategies, your moves to match with what you need to achieve. The world is not as
It seems.
it seems.
And what it promises.
Not many things are as they look.
They are not.
As they say, appearances. What is it? Not all that glitters
Is gold.
is gold.
Oh my
All
goodness.
that glitters is not gold. So that sense of being aware, I find that that is one of the negatives or drawbacks of today's society. They just see things and like they just rush into it and not think, oh, you know,
And
what
sift
may
through
be
it.
underneath, what may be involved. Oh, I see that, I'm going after it without really looking at it, assessing it properly.
But wasn't so? Do you think it was just always so? But it's just more prevalent now because of social media. So it's just more public. So whatever people are going through and their journeys, they kind of put it out there so you can see it on the outside. There's so many. The reason why I said
There,
Mrs. Wagstaffe, in my days there wasn't so much social media.
no,
But there's so many things that I used to chase and think was goodness, or this is what success is.
yes,
This is what's going to fulfill me. This is what's going to make me happy. And then when I go and I look, it was a mirage. It wasn't real water at all.
yes.
Even now.
It's probably not new, but it is how we relate to it. I think how we were taught to relate to it.
Okay.
I know that up to yesterday I was talking with some younger people, but not young, and the same kind of thing was coming out. It's not so much that it is all different. Like I said, young people are going to be young people. They are going to like to explore. They're going to like on new things and so. But it's like we in our time as young people, it seemed as if we had more of a sense of judgment
And values and stuff.
and yes, and assessing before jumping into. Of course, we would still get the realize that this is not as we thought it was, but we would have
Some more
some more
awareness.
awareness
Yes.
and some more caution too in the jumping in. It's like it's like we would be jumping in, but at the same time
Cautiously
we
up.
would be cautiously saying, boy, I wonder if, and that sort of thing. But now it's like they just,
All in.
oh,
You put
touch, they put the whole body.
just
Yes.
jump
Just,
in. The deep end
as it
too.
were, blindly.
Oh, jeez.
Mm.
Okay, understood.
And it's not like they had to do it. It's not like you did it because that was the situation at the time. Like when I had to be principal the following morning after Mr. Jackson died. Mr. Barrett, the board chairman, when I went to see Mr. Jackson in the morgue. And when daylight now and the chairman came to me, or I went to whatever, we met. I said, so Mr. Barrett, what is going to happen now? But you are the principal. That was Mr. Jackson thing. I think it was Friday, early Friday, or Friday morning early. So it's Saturday. Yes, it was about 2 a.m. something. So Saturday now, he said, but you're the principal. And then Miss Anita passed Christmas Eve of the same term. Because I said, I'm not going back. And so they asked Miss Anita to come. And Miss Anita decided to come for the 2 terms to tide them over until they would have decided.
Yes.
They would have sought and got a principal. And the Christmas Eve, Miss Anita passed at the time. I've had some really serious moments during my tenure at Munnings. I had to deal with Sir Jackson's death, Miss Anita's death. I had to deal with some serious children's deaths, students and past students. And I don't know, there is something, they say I love funerals, but there is something about the caring part of me that I would.
It's so funny you were talking about the different funerals, and then the next question is around your challenging season. So I have to ask, because
Yes.
I don't want to assume that it is. I said, walk
Yes.
us through one of the most challenging seasons in your life, and what did you learn about yourself through that season?
There's so many challenging seasons. I mean, I don't know. I'm going on near to 17, you know. So the challenging seasons are multiple,
Choose one
but
that really make
just
you
choose one
learn
that
a
helped
big
me.
lesson about yourself,
Yes,
about who you are inside.
yes. Um, I'd probably take the one where the mother took her two children. One of them was a fifth form girl, and one was a baby, an infant. And she took them. She planned. She planned their death and her suicide. And she took the daughter from school the afternoon, promising student, her bubbly child, liked by classmates and things. And she took the both of them to Montego Bay, fed them, went to a guest house, fed them, and took their lives and hers. And it was painful, very painful for me because I knew her. I had met her in evening school. I knew her husband was the parents who were the children's father as well. I knew him as well. He was a past student too. She was not a past student, in not normal past student, it was evening school. I had to do with the daughter, the bigger one, because we did not have an English teacher, and as principal, I thought that they needed to have some attention before we got a teacher. We didn't know when we were going to get a teacher, so I sacrificed the time to go to their class. So I got to know her a little better. And then when we heard of the death, I mean, I didn't know I would have been so bold in this situation. But again, my faith was my anchor, my underlying support and substance. And I mean, I had a lot of prayers about it. I had been I had been having a lot of prayers because the experience with the principal position at the time was really very. I was principal at the time, yes. Mr. Jackson, Mr. White had left, yes, and I was principal. As was quite demanding, challenging. I mean, I, it was like we had attacks. It was like attacks at the school, kind of forces that we had to be contending with.
Yes.
Parent would
Spiritual
come to the
warfare.
office and say, Mrs. Wagstaffe, and so on. And I said, what, girl? Lord must have spoken to you this morning. Thanks for coming. It was like that. We had students being bounced down. We had panic attacks, just mushrooming. It was like really. And then that news. And then on top of it, I had a position for that because the parents, the girl's parents would be the students' grandparents now asked if they could use the auditorium because they couldn't sort out with anything else.
Yes.
And the board agreed. And of course, it was me. How is it that I am going to bring murderers, suicides to come have funeral service in the auditorium? What is it going to mean? What's it going to do to the children? They came to me. I said, you know what? I didn't make the decision, the board did. And it happens that I agree with it. Straightforward. And girl, and we had trauma team, Ministry of Education, Guidance Department, come in and work with the children. The children were angry because it was their schoolmate. And but when we explained to them that, the mother was ill, she loved her children. And that's the reason she took them with her. She didn't think that anybody else was
gonna love them the way she could.
So although it wasn't right and so on and so on, we have to try to understand. And that those children were marvelous. I mean, they understood. They
Wow.
took it. They took what we would explain to them and changed their attitude, changed.
And change their
Of course,
perspective
it
of how
was
they
still
looked
a
at
change
it.
their whole perspective of how they looked at it. And we had a, I mean, I cried in that funeral service at the auditorium there. It strengthened me to be bold in whatever I was doing, not to back down from things that may not seem popular. I think I had that kind of
Gumph, that oomph, that
before, but that was
kind of
one of the
solidified
things
it.
that solidified, that helped to strengthen me, and that helped me to see more into to being empathetic.
Yes, to see some another
And
person's
see some-
perspective.
Yes.
The mother and how she felt.
Yes.
What it meant. The suicide
What
wasn't
it-
what we thought
What
it
we
was.
thought. And I tried to reach out to the father as well, but he left in fear, partly in fear. So till now, I still, wonder about him, pray about him, wonder what he's doing, where he is. He was blamed for
What
and
happened?
we don't know the full story. I went to the funeral, I went to the interment, because the girl's family is also from Little Bay, which is an area near to my district where I grew up. So I knew people from there. I knew some of her family too. When it turned out that I knew some of the family from that end.
Wow. I was not expecting that at all.
Really?
Oh my
Yes,
goodness. So the next question I have is around
Yes.
success. What does success mean to you?
Success, seeing people happy.
Yes.
Yes. Helping someone who you thought, who people think, or who you wonder. I would wonder if, but people would think that. And I don't like to jump to conclusions. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I like to give them their chance to prove and to possibly change and do better and show me that what I expect that they can do, they can really do it.
Right.
And I like to see when that happens to someone. And I think that's part of the reasons why I never yearn after teaching the bright children.
Yes.
When I got a slow group, how are you going to deal with them? How you manage them? You really want? I said, you watch me and them. And you when a child who is at a level where he can barely, do something, or he's getting a C minus, and you see that child, you work with that child, and the child gets to a C plus or a B. It gives me a sense of having had some impact, of having helped to make this person better. When I have somebody who is being humiliated and scorned and so on, because a child comes to school with uniform side
All
half
torn.
torn and
Or the
not
pleats them
looking
really iron
so-
out. So
yes, and not
really
looking
burn out.
so put together.
And-
And I can get that child to change. You need to sew up.
Yes.
We don't come like this. And put yourself together, man. Clean the shoes. Your parents might be able to buy the shoe polish, but get such and even just a rag alone and rub it off, and you see how much different it looks. And I can get that person to get to the point where that person goes to university, get a master's degree, and teaches and reaches the level of a vice principal, or it makes me feel good for that person, not for myself, not so much that of course I assisted and did and encouraged, and when the individual says I can't bother give up, to encourage them to, no man, just go on. It's going to soon finish, you know. You will get there. I see the person says, thank you, Mrs. Wagstaffe, and even if they don't say thank you, and I look out there and I see. I know in myself that I helped.
Yes.
It makes me feel that my life has been worth the while.
Aww.
Yes, I love that, and I don't like to, when I see people triumphing, as it were, over people's downfall, and so I said, no, please don't do that, because chances are the same thing could happen to me if so and so and so and so.
Have somebody close.
And somebody close.
Right.
Yeah, January 1920, I will be
70.
Oh, they said ladies mustn't tell their age, you know. I don't mind at all. I suppose, especially when we reach to this level now, yes. The younger ones might know what to do it. Oh, man.
I was going to say, for all that, what are you most proud of?
I don't know if I'm most proud, but I am happy, if I use that term, that in spite of many obstacles and difficulties and whatever, I have been able to see my only child alive and doing well.
And the family
of course, there's always better, but there could always be worse.
Yes.
And I have to thank God that, you know, he has kept his head up. He has not got involved in, you know, so much could have happened.
Yes.
And I have been able to live a decent life, having gone through a separation, divorce. I have been able to raise my son, help myself, and, as I say, live a comfortable life.
Last question. At the end of your life, what do you want people to remember the most about you?
I would want them to remember that I was not a selfish person and I helped humanity. I gave service as best as I knew how. And I valued people as much as I value myself.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So I'm going to close on behalf of the Blue Bloods, and there's many Blue Bloods that you've gone to school with.
Yes.
Many Blue Bloods you've taught.
Mm-hmm.
And many Blue Bloods that you haven't taught because you didn't teach me, but I saw you.
Yes.
And your presence have always been, you're always like on the go, so you know. And stern and pretty serious, but warm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you strike that balance of stern, but warm. And compassionate. You. And compassionate. So I was still scared of it. But it was still an openness that if anything was wrong, there was an open door. It's a very hard balance to strike, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I seem to have always had that kind of thing. Of course, it developed.
So this rings true when I say it.
It developed over the years and strengthened.
Yes.
But it seems to me something that characterized me, and people always say that.
Okay, good. So
there is this, you know.
I don't know how you capture really those two in one, but they're both there.
Well, like I said before, I give all the praise and honor to God and my faith. From very early, I developed. Sometimes I think that, like some other people who I'm looking at now, one of our friends,
Marsha Malcolm.
We have an a forward and beyond our age kind of thing from early.
Yes.
And as I go, it developed.
Yes.
The experiences I've been through helped me to further develop that. We can be stern and strict, but at the same time warm, compassionate, thoughtful, reaching out,
Gentle,
and
but strong,
and genuine.
and genuine, authentic.
I hate the washover thing. I can't take it. So I'll be forthright, and people don't like that because I'm going to say to you, Nackia, you know, you said so and so, you did so and so, and I don't like it, but I'm not holding you up for it. Let's go on. And I'm finished with it, and we move on. If you want to hold it up, that's your headache, your heartache, but I am not going to. I'm finished with it. I'm done. And when I say A, I mean A. I can't say A and mean B.
I have to read between the lines.
I have to look straight at you and say, you were wrong.
Yes.
If it's a teacher, how would you not just say it before the child? But when the child goes out, how would you tell the child that? How would you say that to the child? You know that's not right. That's not the best way. You could have done it differently. You know, so it can work. It can work, but it doesn't just happen for some of us. I suppose it doesn't just happen. Probably for me, it happened, and I built on it.
You do it well. You do it.
Thank you.
Well.
Thanks.
On behalf of the Blue Bloods, we want to say thank you. And it's not just for your service, but for your love. The love and passion for what you do. And I can tell you the lives you have impacted. Your legacy is far bigger than your mind could ever and your heart could ever conceive, Mrs. Wagstaffe. And it continues to their children and their children's children. It's a wonderful thing, and I want to say thank you for being in our lives and for the impact you have made.
Yes. Thank you too, and for considering me and for catching up. And I wish, as I said earlier, I could be there tomorrow to see some of those who I might have
missed, not seen in a while.
For a while, and have missed. And I wish you all the best tomorrow. I have a funeral of my niece in Montego Bay. She must have told you.
For your loss.
Yes. So close niece. So I have to be. I couldn't
be there tomorrow.
I can't be there tomorrow.
But I thank you for making time today. And most importantly, I want to thank you, Marsha Malcolm, for helping me to organize this, to help to get in touch with you, for you to say yes, to communicate. It's so difficult for me to coordinate this from Ohio. Yes. Marsha Malcolm, you rock. Thank you. With that, I end the episode. Guys, please like our videos. Share our videos for people who haven't seen Mrs. Wagstaffe in a number of years. And also make your kids watch this episode so they know who Mrs. Wagstaffe is. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can keep up with our episodes every Monday. So you can catch up with your schoolmates and your former teacher. And now, have a fantastic day, guys. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.